Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel of confessions and cheating stories. Today's confessions are a detailed exploration of an unusual parent-child bond, challenging moments, special encounters, and emotional intimacy. We will look at how a family's struggle to reunite can become difficult. The underlying dynamics of relationships can sometimes be very different from what we first thought. If you're ready, I invite you to this unique narrative. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the bell notification to increase engagement before we get to the video. Let's go to the video. Kem parked the car at the edge of the park, where the summer sun cast upon long shadows. His gaze turned anxiously to the clock on the dashboard. His heart began to race, not because he was excited, but because of what was about to happen. Elif, his mother, was standing next to him, a mixture of concern and eagerness in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" they asked. Their voices were barely audible. Elif smoothed her hair and took a deep breath. "I know it's unusual, but I think we need this," she said. "Just for one afternoon. I want to get away from the pressures in our lives, from everything." For months, they had been living under the shadow of a family secret. When Chem's father had abandoned them, Elif had thrown herself into work, struggling to make ends meet. Their relationship, warm and full of laughter, had suddenly become strained. They were both looking for ways to reconnect and do something different from their daily routine. "Okay," Chem said, looking around to make sure no one was watching them. "But I realize we have to be careful if someone sees us." Elif gently stepped forward and put her arm over theirs. "This is just a little escape for us, okay?" They gave a small nod and closed the car door. They got out of the vehicle. Families were enjoying a bright day in the park. Children were playing and living in another universe where no one was critical. Sam followed Elif to a quiet spot in the park, a small grove surrounded by trees. "No one will hear us if we talk here," they suggested. They found a seat in the middle of the flowery grove. Shem could feel the tension in the air. There was the weight of shared history and unspoken words everywhere. "Do you remember when we used to come here as a family?" they asked. Chem smiled playfully and teased, "Yes, and you used to make those awful sandwiches." For a brief moment, the weight of reality was lessened by Elif's laughter, which was music to their ears. Recalling pleasant memories of the past, they found themselves once again parents and children. But when the laughter stopped, a familiar weight fell on Chem. "Mom, what are we really doing here?" Chem asked, with concern in his voice. Elif's expression darkened. "I just want to get in touch again. Everything has changed so much since your father left. I miss you. I want to be with you again." Chem nodded, sharing their pain. "I know it feels wrong to meet in secret like this, but I miss you, too." Elif's gaze softened. "Sometimes we have to break the rules in order to move on." At that moment, a group of children ran past them, their laughter echoing in the distance. Chem and Elif looked at each other with the clarity of a shared moment. They were both looking for calm in a world that was falling apart. "Let's enjoy today," Elif added in a more determined tone. "No expectations, just us." Chem took a deep breath and enjoyed the warmth of the sun on their faces. "All right," they said. While they were in the forest, the sound of a distant fountain and the rustling of leaves drowned out the children's laughter. For the first time in months, they felt at peace. "Do you remember the day we got stuck in the rain?" Shem asked, leaning back on the bench. You wanted to finish? Elif laughed. Their faces lit up when they remembered. Even though you were angry with me, I felt that moment was ideal. Shem chuckled. You were soaking wet and cranky. But you were right, Elif said. It was one of the best days of my life. The unexpected moments are sometimes the most special. Elif's eyes sparkled as she dived into the past. They say we should enjoy life and put aside our plans for the future. Shem looked at them and felt the impact of their words. I understand, but it still feels strange to sneak away. Elif sighed when his grin faded a little. I understand. It's not a simple thing, but I wanted to feel like a family after what happened, even if only temporarily. Maybe we can find a way to connect honestly without hiding, Shem said. Elif nodded with a thoughtful expression on her face. You are right. We should be understanding towards each other, but it is hard to find the ideal time. They sat in silence, each immersed in their own thoughts. As the tension eased, Shem realized how much they missed these open discussions. The park, once the stage for their fractured families, was now a refuge where they could reunite. It's a deal, Shem said suddenly. Let's get this over with. We'll figure out how to hang out together without having to meet in secret. Shem's idea made Elif's eyes sparkle. I love this idea. We can organize short trips like we used to do. At the same moment, a child who had fallen off the neighboring swing ran to his parents. Shem and Elif looked at each other with worried eyes. It was as if they had suddenly returned to the present. I think it would be good to go back, Shem said when their excitement subsided a little. I don't want them to stay here too long. Elif nodded. Their faces were no longer smiling. You are right. Let's keep quiet. As they left the park and headed towards their car, Shem couldn't help thinking how short that moment had been. Although they had almost gone too far, they had instead discovered a stronger bond that could allow them to continue a more positive relationship. It seemed like a sea change. When they reached the car, Shem looked at their mother. I'm glad we did this, Shem said. It was lovely, he continued. Let's make sure this is not an isolated incident. We'll figure it out together, Elif replied in a kind and welcoming tone. Shem was quite relieved when they left the park. Although they still didn't have all the answers, they had made progress towards healing. And that was enough for now. In the weeks that followed, Shem and Elif made sure to spend time together, going to the park once again to laugh and have a peaceful time. They also found new places to go, including an art show, a movie theater, and a small cafe. These little outings were slowly filling the void left by the departure of Kem's father. One Saturday, they decided to visit a local market. The air was filled with the smell of baked goods and the tones of fresh fruit. Shem saw the sparkle in his friend's eyes as he wandered among the stalls. See those strawberries? Shem asked excitedly, pointing to the delicious berries piled up on the counter. We should definitely buy some to make that tart you like, Shem said. The thought of making that tart together comforted them. It brought back memories of simpler times. As they picked strawberries and talked to the shopkeepers in the neighborhood, Shem noticed that their bond was becoming more and more accepted. But when they turned the corner, they suddenly saw a familiar face. Their neighbor, Mrs. Savim, was a family they had known for years. Mrs. Savim! She shouted. Elif! Shem! As Savim waved happily, Shem's stomach started to tighten. Even if they weren't doing anything in secret, there was something sensitive about them spending time together. Shem sent his friend a troubled look. Elif looked just as puzzled as he did. When Mrs. Sevim said, "Hello," Elif said with an artificial smile, "We were just getting some. It looks delicious." Mrs. Sevim looked through her baskets. "I wanted to know how you both were. I heard everything." There was silence for a minute. Shem's heart began to race. They especially didn't want to discuss the family roof with a neighbor. "Besides, we are fine, thank you," Shem replied in the lightest tone possible. "We are just enjoying the summer." Mrs. Sevim nodded, but she had a worried look on her face. "You know, I'm always here if you need anything. It's been a difficult time for both of you." "Thank you. We really appreciate it," Elif added in a slightly hoarse voice. After some more small talk, they were able to escape from Sevim. Once they were safely away, Shem breathed a sigh of relief. "That was a bit close," Shem said as he turned to face his colleagues. "Yes, it was," Elif confirmed, speaking quietly. "I didn't want to have that conversation here." "Do you think he suspects something?" Shem asked worriedly. "Maybe. It was hard to tell." "Maybe we should be more careful," Elif said. "But isn't there more than people realize? Is it just the bond between a mother and her child?" "Of course," Shem said, trying to ease their uneasiness. "Let's concentrate on today. Let's just concentrate on today." Shem was having a good time wandering around the marketplace, tasting cheese, buying freshly baked bread, and watching a juggler perform. "Look, that's the point!" When Elif spoke, the tension from before seemed to disappear completely. All Elif wanted was to enjoy life and be together. After doing their shopping, they had a picnic on a hill in the park. They bathed in the sunlight. Shem tasted the fresh bread and said, "Mom, I want to keep doing this. I want to be close to you." "I want to be close to you too," Elif said, her gaze softening. "I think this is what we need." As they ate, they talked freely, sharing stories and memories, but Shem's thoughts were stuck on the incident that morning. How vulnerable their little world would seem to strangers. When they had finished eating, Shem sat back down on the grass and gazed up at the clouds. "We still need to be careful, but this might be a wise idea. I don't want our bond to be misinterpreted by others." "You're right," Elif said with a mixture of understanding and disappointment. "But I know hiding is exhausting," she said softly. "But for now, let's enjoy what we have and take everything step by step, side by side." They sat in silence, the weight of the morning's encounter weighing on them. But Shem saw a glimmer of optimism between them. They were moving in the right direction. Shem was sure that they had the strength to overcome the obstacles they faced together. Shem and Elif continued to nurture their revitalized relationship throughout the summer. They discovered ways to incorporate their vacations more organically into their daily routine. These vacations were much more than secret retreats. Their time together turned into happy times. They now had the tools to overcome the complexity of their past, even if they struggled to move through it. One day, as they were organizing their next trip, Kem had an idea. "We can organize a family dinner, just you and me, and then invite some friends so that everyone can see that we are doing well." Elif's eyes widened at this suggestion. "What a great idea! We can prepare meals together, and we can plan a real get-together like we used to." There was a buzz of excitement in the air as they started to organize the menu. They made their favorite strawberry pie at the marketplace and combined their favorite recipes. On the day of dinner, the smell of homemade food and laughter filled the kitchen. Cem and Elif worked side by side while stirring pots and chopping vegetables. They moved together as if they were reviving a tradition they had not done for many years. "Remember when I burned that pasta?" Elif giggled as Cem stirred the sauce. "I was so angry, but I admired your willingness to do things right." "Yes, and again, I've never made pasta." Cem rolled his eyes and joked. As the evening approached, they carefully arranged the table to look inviting. Cem couldn't suppress his sense of pride. It was wonderful to see what they had created. There was a warmth and happiness in the air when their guests arrived. There was a lot of conversation in the dining room. "Your food is amazing," one of Cem's friends said as they enjoyed their meal. As they grinned, Elif's face filled with relief and joy. "I am grateful. Cem helped me with everything," Elif said. As the evening progressed, Cem thanked his friends for their support as they chatted. Cem could see how hard Elif had worked for this dinner, and everything flowed naturally. At the end of the night, Cem and Elif went outside to catch their breath. "I'm really glad we did this," Cem said, looking at his friends. "I'm glad too," Elif said, smiling warmly. It felt good to reconnect with other people. At that moment, Mrs. Sevim waved as she passed by them, walking her dog, and stopped at the edge of their house. "I hope I'm not disturbing you. It's so nice to see you two together. I just wanted to say that." Cem's heart started to race once more, but Elif caught the moment. "I am grateful. We recently planned a modest dinner with our friends. It's wonderful." "You both deserve some happiness," Ms. Sevim added in a gentle voice, and then she continued her stroll. They watched her go, and Cem felt relieved. Once inside, they embraced their relationship freely, perhaps without fear of criticism. Cem felt lighter for the first time in a long time. As they played games and told stories, the room filled with a sense of comfort for the first time in a long time. At the end of the night, Cem saw Elif giggling with a friend. They realized how much they missed seeing Elif's true happiness. Their relationship had changed from a secret one to a real one. Cem helped Elif tidy up the kitchen after everyone had left. But it was a beautiful mess, full of memories, Cem said. "Thank you for tonight, Mom." Elif stopped and looked at them gratefully. "I think we made very good memories," she said. "I think so too, Cem. It also made me realize how important it is to be honest with the world and each other. I believe that people's actions are in harmony." "Let's keep building," Cem instructed. "I want to keep moving forward." Elif grinned, her face a mixture of pride and relief. "We will do that together, too." As Cem finished cleaning, he felt optimistic about the future. Despite the difficulty of their journey, they were slowly returning to each other. Laughter, bonding, and the transparency it fostered. Turning out the lights and closing the door behind them was worth every worry. Cem was sure that with honesty, courage, and love, they would overcome all obstacles. We have come to the end of this story. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the bell notification to be notified of our stories before anyone else. See you in our next cheating story. Goodbye.